Hi, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of StudioJake Dreamcast. This is where I discuss a Dreamcast for a property that has never been adapted into film, or it's been a while since they've been adapted into film. And I know it's been a while since I've done one, but a new rumor has stirred. I make no secret that I am a fan of My Hero Academia, as you can see. I love the franchise a great deal. I've seen all the movies. I've seen the entirety of the anime. I just got into reading the manga, and their spin-off slash prequel, My Hero Academia Vigilantes, got some possible news. Before I dive into that, be sure to like, share, subscribe here to my vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture. Leave me a comment and tell me what you think about what I'm about to discuss. We all know that My Hero Academia is already an anime. So what do I mean? Well, there is a rumor that has been going around that My Hero Academia Vigilantes, which is a prequel spin-off, might be getting an anime. Now, the manga is already complete. So it would be interesting to see how they're going to do this. They could do one long season of an anime. They could do it as OVAs, or as we know them as TV films, or they could break it up into multiple seasons. There's certainly enough for 3 seasons depending on how they film it. So for those of you unfamiliar, My Hero Academia Vigilantes, it takes place a little before and some during the first arc of My Hero Academia. It's when All Might is still able to bring out his powers. It's before Endeavor, kind of has his reformation, if you will, as a character. And most of it takes place before Deku even starts attending UA High. So it follows a character named Kochi, who is a vigilante on the streets where he's at first he kind of starts off, he's just kind of a generic do-gooder. People call him the Crawler because of his powers, where he can use air molecules to make himself launch. He encounters a vigilante called Knuckle Duster who has no quirk, and he kind of becomes his mentor. It's basically, instead of Superman training Deku, All Might is obviously a stand-in for Superman. It would be, what if Batman trained him? Because Kochi is very similar to Deku. He's wide-eyed, he's optimistic, he has a heart of gold, although he's a little bit more confident than Deku is. He also partners with a female vigilante named Popstep, who originally didn't want to be a vigilante. She wanted to be a pop star. One of the cool things about it is both of these characters, they're actually in college, whereas My Hero Academia has a more early X-Men / Teen Titans feel. My Hero Academia Vigilantes definitely has a more mature approach to its content, and they encounter all kinds of villains. You actually find out all kinds of secrets about some of the main characters in the main manga that you didn't know about, such as Stain. Stain has kind of a prequel arc in this series. So I wanted to dive in and discuss who I would like to portray them in the English dub. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about Japanese celebrities to be able to say, oh, I think this voice actor would do good as this character. So instead, I'm going to go through the top 10 characters and who I think their voice actors should be in the English dub. So sit back, relax. Let's get started. Okay, up first, we have Police Officer Kaneko, who is sort of a character who you see frequently. She's not in every single chapter, but you definitely see her around. She's partnered with another police detective, and she does her best to try to stop the vigilantes. So I think she would be perfect to be voiced by Kira Buckland, who of course voices Risha in The Rising of the Shield Hero. She's also had all kinds of amazing roles, such as in the Asteroid War or Eden Zero. But I think she would be perfect for this. She has kind of a good voice for it. I think that she would bring out that character very well. Okay, so up next we have Kuyin Hachisuke, who is the Queen Bee. So basically, this villain, she is miniaturized. Her quirk is that she can possess a certain person, and she does this to 2 characters in the stories, and one of them being Knuckle Duster's daughter. Now, I think that because she can't really talk when she's in her bee form, that whenever she possesses a character, this person, Abby Trott, should take over as the voice actor. So whenever she possesses someone, that's who they need to have as the character. So you might know her as Nezuko from Demon Slayer. She's also appeared in Roka, the Braves of the Six Flowers, as well as Vinland Saga. She has kind of an unsuspecting voice. I think she would do well with bringing about that sort of forceful, villainous role. She has a lot of heroic roles, obviously, but if you've seen her voice Nashitana in Roka, then you know for sure she can handle sort of a villainous take on someone very unsuspecting. I think it would be perfect. Okay, for Temoa Ogura, so this is Knuckle Duster's daughter. That's the mentor's daughter. She's possessed by Queen Bee for most of the series. However, at the end, she is able to voice herself because Queen Bee possesses someone else. So spoiler alert. But you might know her from Chainsaw Man, where she voices the character of Akane. She's also been in Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and she has a really good, distinct voice. I think for that role, in this case, Oguro should be voiced by Emmylou. I think she's perfect for that role. Okay, so we get to the villain. This is number 6. And as you know, in one of the My Hero Academia films, there's a villain named number 9, and they could very well be connected. We don't know for sure, but it seems like they might be. So number 6, he presents himself as sort of a mild-mannered kind of hero whenever he can be, but then you find out, of course, he is this terrifying villain. So you need a voice actor who can kind of juggle those two perspectives, and I think Neil Kaplan would be very good at this. Of course, we know him as Optimus Prime and Transformers Car Robots, known in America as Transformers Rid, or Robots in Disguise. But also in Naruto, he voiced one of the villains. He did Madara, and he did a fantastic job in that role. And I just think that being able to morph from doing the first sort of mild-mannered into the villain, I think he would be perfect for that, because we know he can do Optimus Prime, who of course is the leader of the heroic Autobots, and Madara, who is one of the most violent villains in Naruto. So he could handle both aspects of that character. I think that he would be good for number 6, and hopefully we'll see that happen. Okay, so for Captain Celebrity. So Captain Celebrity in the story, he's this American superhero who is getting all kinds of lawsuits against him because he kind of has this playboy behavior that gets him into a lot of trouble. It causes him to be separated from his wife and child, and so he comes to Japan to kind of redeem his image. And, you know, it works a little bit. I think Max Middleman would be perfect. So you might know him as Saitama from One Punch Man. He's, you know, the caped baldy. He would be perfect for this role. He's got this grandiose behavior. He's kind of a sort of a mockery of, I don't want to say mockery, he's a satire of American superheroes such as Superman. Now, unlike All Might, he doesn't have he does have increased strength, but not the same amount that All Might has, and he can fly. And he kind of goes through a redemption arc through the series. At first, they kind of present him as, oh, you don't really like him, and you at first you think, oh man, this manga is kind of making fun of Americans, but then you actually find out he's a character with a lot of depth, and he goes through this really intense redemption arc that ends up paying off at the end of the manga in a really big way. So I think Max Middleman would really be able to pull out that aspect of the character, especially after voicing Saitama. So this is one of the biggest characters in the manga. She befriends Pop and the Crawler and ends up becoming a big thing. She's actually the sister of All Might's friend who's on the police force. Her name is Makata Sakochi, and I think Michelle Ruff from Sword Art Online, and of course Bleach fans will recognize her. She would be really good in that role. She voiced Sinin in Sword Art Online. I think that is perfect for her. She is a go-getter. She's an encouragement to some of the characters. She works hard. She eventually becomes Captain Celebrity's agent and does a fantastic job. Because remember, in the world of My Hero Academia, being a superhero is a job. And so you have to get sponsors and things like that. And Makoto does this for Captain Celebrity. She does a really good job. She's a really great grounded character, and she kind of keeps the stories grounded in sort of that real life aspect of this world. All right, so Soga. Now, Soga is this really great support character. He's an ally of Knuckle Duster and later of the Crawler. He works with them. He helps them out. He helps them fight the bad guys. He's kind of a PI type character, and I think Corey Hartzog should voice him. Now, he played Tatsumi, the main protagonist, at least until the final 2 episodes in Akame ga Kill. He's perfect. His voice would blend real well with that character. He's kind of, you know, the no nonsense and attitude. He kind of, the other street urchins and ruffians who kind of surround themselves around the Crawler. He's kind of their leader, and I think that Hartzog would be perfect for that, especially after seeing him perform in Akame ga Kill. And yes, I know some of these I'm just doing 1 or 2 of their big roles, but this is how I remember them. And I think that with this character, with Soga, he would be perfect for that. All right, so we're to the big three. So these are the three main characters of the manga. So Knuckle Duster, he was originally a superhero called Overclock, where he was able to, move faster than time, or I should say he could move sort of fast and then do everything. He lost his powers because of the villain known as All for One. And as a result, he became this vigilante. He still kind of has some of his leftover muscle density. His high tolerance for pain is still there. And like I said, he becomes a mentor to the Crawler, to Kochi is the Crawler's real name. I think I mentioned that earlier. And I think Vic Mignogna should voice him. Of course, Dragon Ball Z fans, know him as the original and true Broly. He was also in Full Metal Alchemist. He does a variety of voice acting. He's very talented, and I would love to see him return, especially after all the nonsense that he went through, just being caught up in just a parade of unproven accusations that almost destroyed him. But he's kind of on an upswing, and I really would like to see him voice Knuckle Duster. I think he would be perfect for that part. I think he would be perfect for that role, and I think that he could pull it together. All right, so Pop Step. She is the vigilante who kind of joins forces with the Crawler and Knuckle Duster. She really kind of more dreams of being a pop star, and she ends up getting into trouble where the villainous number 6 gets involved with her life in a terrifying way. And she is one of the coolest female characters that I've read, even compared to some of my favorite comic book characters. I really like Pop Step. She is fantastic. She's got a lot of character depth, and you find that she actually had a secret connection to the Crawler before she even met him. It's really cool. You really get to see it, and you really get to see her grow, going from kind of being a groupie into coming into her own right as a hero and as a pop star. It's really cool. Her powers are she can create these energy that she can either fling as a weapon or she can use them to make her float. It's really neat. It's really cool. She's really well designed. And I think that Hannah Aliyah. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Let me know. Hannah Aliyah, I think maybe is the more correct way to pronounce it. She voices Saint Cecilia in Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence, which is sort of a fantasy romantic comedy series. I reviewed it on my website, StudioJakeMedia.com. That review is coming soon. But Pop really needs someone with a more girlish voice. She's definitely a girly girl. She's definitely less intense than some of the other female characters that I've mentioned. And so when I heard Hannah voice Saint Cecilia, I knew that she would be perfect for Pop. She could definitely carry that character very well, showing her strength as that character. I think it would be perfect. Okay, so we're to the main character, Kochi, aka the Crawler, aka the Sky Crawler, as he becomes known later. I was really struggling with this because since he's the main protagonist of My Hero Academia Vigilantes, I really think he needed a voice that truly mattered, that really made him distinct. Now, my first thought immediately was Drake Bell. Drake Bell, of course, voiced Spider-Man for a number of years. In my opinion, he was one of the best voice actors to voice Spider-Man. I think despite all of his personal troubles, he should be able to do that role. He would be perfect for it. That being said, he doesn't do a lot of anime dubs, or any to my knowledge. He mainly does voice acting for mainstream cartoons, although he hasn't in a while, but I would love to see him return to that. Even though I think he would be right for the Crawler, getting that sort of young at heart and optimistic view of the world and heroics, I think that would be good for him. But like I said, he doesn't do a lot of anime dubs, so it would be, a conflict to get him in a certain way. So I think Blake Shepard, who voices the main character in Farming Life in Another World, I think he could do it. Now, he sounds a little bit older than Drake Bell's Spider-Man, but I think he would be good. He really did well with that character. He really brought it out. He really made that character likable. And also that character is very good-natured, like Kochi. So I could see him voicing Kochi in a positive way. And that sums up my list. That's all 10 of the characters. What do you think? I would love to hear your thoughts on who you should think voice these characters below. Let me know. Maybe I'll comment and say if I agree or disagree. And I really hope that this anime is not just a rumor. I would love to see it happen. My Hero Academia Vigilantes is a phenomenal series. I won't say it's better than the original My Hero Academia because it is so different. Even though it's set in sort of this quirk world, it is still its own distinct story. And like I said, it takes place before the events of season one and a little bit daring towards the end, but I would love to see this series brought to life as an anime. I think it would be fantastic. I think that we could see it come together in a bold new way. It is really good, and I think that anime fans everywhere would enjoy a series, especially with the voice cast that I listen. So Crunchyroll, High Dive, Bang Zoom, Netflix, whoever is going to get the dubbing rights to this series, I hope that you stumble on this video, because I think that this cast would make this a phenomenal anime, especially in the English dub. So thank you for tuning in for my latest edition of Studio Jake Dreamcast.